is to satisfy and submit these quests to get rewards. It's important for part of why I've laid the shop out like this a little bit. Here is the cash register where all the money comes in. It feeds down here and then feeds into this belt here that will feed the rest of the factory. Here is the general goods store where there's a full shelf of items for each item type. This I still have to make. This is where the general goods are. Across the way is jewelry. So this is where gemstones are deposited for sale to customers. Here is the potion shop where all the potions go. So there's a full shelf of every type of potion. I still need to make this one. And then the magic shop where all of the relics are made. So I've only made these 3 so far. This one does come in slowly, but not quickly enough to fully stock like these. So I still need to increase the throughput on these. And then these 3 relics I still need to make. And then here is the warehouse. So whenever a quest comes in, I'll come to the warehouse and I'll pick whatever item is needed. These signs just make it a little bit easier for me to find whatever item I'm looking for. Okay, and then going out of the shop, we'll go up these stairs to our logistics floor. So this floor so far is just dedicated to distributing all the items that are made in the factory. So they feed up from above, and all items flow from this end to this end. So here we have a vertical bus that feeds the general goods shop. So all of these items will feed down into these cannons, and these cannons shoot into the shop down below. And then all those items will feed into more cannons, which shoot into these cannons, and all of these cannons fill the warehouse. So we've got signs to indicate which cannon goes where and which item supplies into the warehouse. So you can see that quite a few are blank still. These are items I still need to make and still need to supply to the warehouse and the shop. So still ways to go, but all items go through this part of the factory to supply its final destination. And then moving up to the next floor is all of the items that feed the shop and also building supplies. So all of these creations feed the shop. So you can see, for example, this is my glass build. This goes all the way down to the end here. And then we'll feed this right here. This will flow downwards into the logistics floor, and we do that for all of the items. They travel on this vertical bus and then cascade into the logistics floor. So this makes a rather compact build to supply everything that goes into the shop and the warehouse. And in order to supply these items belt for automated purchasing of items. We've got a fertilizer belt, and so this money belt feeds all of the purchasing portals. These portals allow for items to be created, or items to be purchased, raw materials to be purchased to go into these builds here. So you can see these all throughout the game, and throughout each build, that each purchasing portal will buy some item to supply these builds. The fertilizer will supply fertilizer to plants, and those will go into making some items as well. So here we've got 2 rows of builds with 2 different vertical buses to supply these conveyor belts that go down to the logistics floor. And then this row right here, this row is for building materials. So every item that you build requires some amount of raw materials. So for example, this wooden table requires 20 wood. So I have up here table saws that create planks. And then everything in this row feeds these supply boxes. And these supply boxes, these machines supply boxes on every floor. So this is the base level, and then as we go up, you'll see that there's a set of boxes on each floor. And right now, all those boxes are filling up, so all the machines are hard at work right now. And then going up to the next floor is fertilizer and power. So all of these machines here are dedicated to creating fertilizer. So in this case, these fertile catalysts are the current tier of fertilizer that I'm using. My next build is to work on the panacea potions. That's going to be here. It's panacea potions. Still trying to figure out the best layout for that. So for now, fertile catalysts do just fine. And then these are growth potions that are a part of the previous tier of fertilizer. They have been obsolete, so I still need to clean this up. And then back here is the power plant. This supplies all of the power to all of the factory. So we've got steam boilers being supplied with potions to generate steam. And that steam gets carried through these pipes here all the way down and supplies the entire factory. And all of these pipes supply a specific fluid to the entire factory. And I'll show you the different fluids that I have running right now. So here we've got steam. Looks like I need to create some more power. I'm running out of steam here. Yeah, linseed oil, fruit wine, sulfuric acid, lavender oil, brandy, and brine. Up to floor 8. These are relics. These are the largest builds of the game. And so they're named after different planets. So Jupiter is the first relic that we make in the game. And I've got a few of these running to supply the factory so that there's never a shortage of Jupiters to sell or to turn in for quests. These are Mars relics. These are relatively large builds, the Mars builds, but yeah, a bit smaller. Yeah, so we've got 4 of these running as well. And these all flow in this direction and supply these lifts that go down to the logistics floor. So there's Mars, there's Saturn, and then this is the Venus build. This is the most recent relic that I've built. And so these are the ones that are building rather slowly. So I need to increase either the number of machines that I have running, or upgrade my ability to make these faster. I also need to work on getting more fertilizer into this build. In terms of how to supply the relics, everything gets supplied from here. All the money gets supplied. It's fed from the shop, and then back into each floor, and then each floor converts however much money it needs. Right now, I'm supplying 5 silver at a time to this level, and then all of the fertilizer also comes through here, and then travels all the way down to the end here, travels over and then back up, and then loops back around, so that there's a continuous feed of fertilizer. Not sure how I feel about this one though, because I'm noticing that certain areas get plenty of fertilizers, other areas they're still lacking in how much fertilizer they're getting. So I need to figure out how to get more fertilizer into these belts, because I think I have enough. I think I'm making enough fertilizer, I'm just not able to get enough to these areas. But that will also go away with making the next tier of fertilizer. I think once I do that, then I won't have this issue. So it may not be a problem that I actually end up fixing. It's just a matter of upgrading. So that's the relics floor, and here you can also see some more supply boxes. And these will continue to get fed up to the higher floors. Relics is the last construction floor until we reach the 16th floor, which is where we make fluids. Here we've got fertilizer feeding different plants. And I make the fluids up here because there's a specific structure called a thermal extractor that gives a production multiplier based off of how high you make the fluid. So I tried to get everything up here so that I maximize that bonus. So here, right now I just have the fruit wine, the linseed oil, and brandy up here. There are a few more fluids that I can bring up, but for now, it's just these 3. And yeah, so next up, I'm going to be working on this panacea potion to see if that's a fertilizer, so I think it makes sense to make it down the fertilizer down here, floor 6.